Recording in progress.
Okay, perfect. So, Brother David, first of many. Okay, I'm looking for I really wanted to start this in 2024, but I was so eager, so eager. So as you can tell, this 24-hour notice thing was, but I was so eager. I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I have to do something and so this explains my eagerness to do it like right away. But I was planning on launching it in 2024 and have at least 2 or 3 people using this by mid-year of 2024. So that's kind of like my vision, and it'll take time to give you a realistic time frame. We've been delving into tracks. Brother David, he knows, he was there from the beginning since 2018. So it's been 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20, 6 years at it already, bro. Can you believe? And in 2019, I remember, yeah, we started with free GarageBand on my iPad mini, guys. And I didn't know how to go about it, Sister Zara. I had to create my own loops. I made it myself. And so if you've delved into GarageBand, you know that you could actually just drop a drum loop. And so I did that, and all I did is I dropped a couple things, and I pressed record. I'm like, oh, it works. And then what I did is I clicked the loop function, and then at the end of that bar, it would go back. And so we used that for a couple years. And it was a learning curve because I really wanted to delve into this. I knew we were 10 years behind. We were 10 years behind because a lot of the people at that time started using tracks in 2000 and late 2009, 10. And so we were only getting into it in 2018. So we were 10 years behind. So we had a lot of learning to do. And so that's what I did. I started off with GarageBand. And so our goal here today is just understanding what multi-tracks are. You guys already kind of know because you've played with me, and the significance in a church setting. It's super important. Here's why. Here's my argument. Is because if you want to sound like crazy good, and one of my advice that someone gave to me, and it was backed up by Pastor Graham, is he always told me, if there is a big conference, bro, I want you to put your best foot forward. And who told him that was what's his name? Some high preacher in the UPCI told Pastor Graham that if you want your conferences to be powerful and big, put your best people forward, your best music forward. And so that's trickled down to us till today. As you know, like Sister Claudia really pushed for music, started CMA, and basically our music ministry is comprised of mostly young people. And that's because of what she did. And we have really good music in Saint Laurent. You guys, we're so blessed. If we go to different churches, they're not there yet. And I'm surprised that I feel like we were behind, but now we're ahead. Right, bro? Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're blessed. We're blessed. Um, and so that's one of my arguments is that multi tracks really elevates our music because we can perform these crazy, especially aux stuff, Sister Rudith. It would be so hard every week to find the right sound that they use to replicate the right arpeggios. So it's super hard. So to facilitate that is the use of multi-track. So the actual recording of the instrument being used in a recording, and so we play over that. And so one of my statements here is the reason why it's important is because it elevates our music, right? And I believe in excellence. If you've worked with me, I really strive to just do better and bring it forward. And in a multi-track, you have everything that was recorded from vocals, drums, keys, aux, guitars, all of the guitars. And I'm going to show you an example on my screen. So if I go here, okay. So don't be frightened. This is a software that I use. This is called Ableton. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen for Sister Zara. Uh, share screen. Where is it at? Desktop 1. Yeah. Perfect. So this is Ableton, okay? And as you can see here, there's a list of, we call these stems. So these are the actual recordings of Jerelyn Young. And when he recorded this song, he basically included all of these instrumentation in his song. Okay, so you have click and guide, you have drums, you have bass, you have one, not just one, but you have 5 guitars. These are guitars. You have a piano, you have some keys, organ, you have synths, you have plucks. These are also kind of like aux sounds. You got a pad, you have some special effects vocals, and you have the background vocals. So this is what comes into a master recording of a song, okay? And so obviously in a service, in a church service, we don't have this many musicians on stage. We can, but it's not in our capacity. Okay, so this is one of the ways to replicate the song verbatim is by using multitracks. Okay, so this is what multitracks is. And before I started multitracks, I didn't start with this right away, okay, because it was a big learning curve. I had to learn how to use this and kind of like be the SME, the subject matter expert. And so it was a big of a learning curve because there is this view, and then if I go there, there's this other view. Okay, so it looks funny, but if you've ever looked at an analog board, like upstairs, or no, that's a digital, but our older board, this is kind of like the simulation of that. This is kind of like a mixing board. Okay, so this is Ableton. Okay. And so now you guys understand the different. Oh, there's someone that wants to come in. So this is what multitracks are. Okay, it comes with all these stems. So as you can tell, we haven't been using multitracks on every song. Okay, the reason why, a couple reasons why. Some songs doesn't call for multitracks, right? If we do kind of like, like one of those old hymns, there's no need, right? We can just keep it old school. And some of them are also not available. Like, for example, bro, Béni l'Éternel, I haven't found it. So a lot of these French songs, we don't have the multitracks for. Another reason why could be the culture of the church, and I'm being careful with that too. We can't have any of those trap beats, stems, or something like that. So I'm also being careful about knowing the audience, would they be accepting? And slowly but surely, I've introduced one song at a time in a set. And then the first time we did a full set with all multi-tracks was in July camp meeting. You remember that, bro? So that was the first time this year that we did all the songs with multi-tracks. And it was quite impressive. I can't believe we did it, bro. And we made it happen. We were locked in, and I was so happy with the outcome. Quote unquote, the performance aspect of it, because it is kind of like there's a performance aspect, there's a performance element in what we're doing. Okay, so we'll veer away from the spiritual side a little bit. I know we like to do that, but let's think more the other side, the spectrum of, the performance aspect. Okay, so it was really cool that we were able to do it, and I realized that, hey, if we did it once, we could do it again. And then another time, I can't remember another time, but most recently with Orange Team, we used multi-tracks for all the sets once again. So it kind of proved to me that, hey, this is possible. So I was really happy. It made me, it reassured me that the church was accepting. And obviously, you'll always have one or two people that say, oh, this and that, but that's okay. We can't always please everybody. But what we do believe, if it's backed up by our lead pastor, if it's backed up by, our music leaders and God at the end, then I'm okay with that, right? So obviously, all of these things that we've implemented have gone through pastor's approval, 100%. So that's one. It was reassuring. But before we go into Ableton, I know Sister Zara, who's online, is very interested in learning that. There's a couple programs I want to show you that I started using before Ableton. One of them was this free program here. I see Brother Jobert is on. Thank you so much for joining, bro. This is called Prime by the app loopcommunity.com. It's a free app, okay? And you don't have to download it now because I have something special for you guys, okay? I figured out a kind of like a backdoor, bro. Because the one I have is a paid subscription monthly, because the free app only gives you about 5 gigs of storage space, and 5 gigs is not enough. You put in one song, and it was done, bro. Brother David, you don't know the struggle. I haven't told anyone this, but for the longest time, every Sunday, every week, I'm struggling. I'm there on my computer. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to delete all this again and then re-upload another song. And then if we do that other song again, I got to delete that one that I just put in, put back the one that and so I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to upgrade. So I kept deleting, uploading, just because I had to respect the 5 gigabyte limit. And so this app uses the cloud capacity, the cloud function, okay? And so right now, this is a more easier, user-friendly system that you could use before delving into Ableton, okay? I'm going to show you a little bit. I realized that I have to stop recording because I have to share with audio for people on Zoom. Hold on. Share sound. Perfect. So this is a song called, what is this? Freedom by Jesus Culture, okay? And so I'm going to play it here. Let's see. I want you to kind of figure out in your brains, and the way I'm playing around with the system kind of makes sense of things, okay? Here we go.
Intro, 3, 4. Intro, 3, 4.
Right? So what's cool about this is it's more user-friendly.
Intro, 3, 4. Intro, 3, 4.
See what I'm doing? I'm clicking and it's jumping.
Intro, 3, 4.
Can you guys see the labels here? There is freedom, out of the night. So this is what we used first. And you could use this on an iPad, you could use this on a laptop, and you could use it on an iPhone. It's an Apple app.
Turn around,
Okay.
3, 4.
And what's cool is, obviously, you don't need a bass, because we have a bassist at church. We got a drummer. We got keys.
Verse 2.
What else do I
3,
see here?
4.
I'm going to leave some guitars, and we would play over this. Right? And if I wanted to solo something,
Pre-chorus,
verse again.
3, 4.
Okay? So this is what I used first, because it was so user-friendly. I'm like, I'm going to jump on this right away. And as you can see here, you could build set lists.
Pre-chorus, 3, 4.
Right now I only have 2, but this is another song that I have on. Let's jump right away.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
This is Sinak. Okay, so I use this first. This is what I used first before Ableton, because I needed to kind of get used to the whole workflow on the idea of using stems and tracks. And just pause for a second. The red here, they're automatically panned to the left. That's why they're both in red. Everything else is green, or blue rather, because these guys are panned to the right. and the red ones are only what the musicians hear. Okay, and I'm going to talk about how all of this works with the interface that I have on the side. Okay, so I used this for maybe 2-3 years before getting into Ableton, and I would say our learning curve, anybody can jump right into Ableton for sure. Okay, it's just a bit, it's just a bit not scary, but it's a little too much. If you've never delved into a digital audio workstation, this can get a bit tricky. So I would go with something more user-friendly. Okay, so this is something you guys could start using before going into Ableton. And it's so useful for rehearsal practices. And let's say I wanted to send this to
Intro,
my
2, 3, 4.
strings player. So I'm like, Rudith, can you try to learn this line? And then you could just solo in with the strings and kind of hear what they're doing. Right? Anyways, you guys get the idea. So you could do that. Okay? And if David wanted to practice, and if the master recording, if that's all he does, there must be a reason, right? We don't have to go. Basically, he's serving the song. And so that's what we're here to do, is to serve the song. Okay? So this is Prime. This is a Prime app by Loop Community. There's another app that is also free by multitracks.com. It's called Playback. So this is the same thing, but it's just different color schemes. It's almost the same thing. But I found that there are more songs in loopcommunity.com to purchase from versus multitracks.com. The songs that we do, but there's a lot of songs at Multitracks, don't get me wrong. But the app Playback is also another one. Same thing, same layout. Okay, so this one, I'm going to be able to help you guys out on your devices. I'm going to log in. We're not going to put it on. Okay. I'm going to log into your Apple account. You download it, and then it's going to stay in your phone, and I'm going to log out, and it's still going to stay there, and it's going to work. So I found out, like I did a couple tests. I'm like, no way that works, and it works. And so this will be provided to you guys. Okay. Another app. So I know we're going backwards, but it's okay. It's basically part of the whole idea. If this is still a bit too tricky, there's another app that I use. I do see that we have Brother Lance on. Brother Lance, good to see you, bro. Well, I don't see you, but good to know you're there. This is called XEM or XME Loops, rather. This is almost my favorite one because it was so kind of like fast and easy and accessible. That's the word. It was so accessible that I've used this maybe for also about a year or two. So depending on like how I feel, bro, in a week, I would use XME or it would be Prime. This is before I had Ableton. It would always be one of the two. And this XME loop was also my lifesaver because it had so many songs. Like from the top of your heads, give me a song right now. Breakthrough. Okay. So I would go on the search or the loop and I would type Breakthrough. And lo and behold, Breakthrough by Eddie James is on here already. So this is how this interface works. And I say this is a great start to multi-tracks because if your band, mostly if your drummer isn't great with time, forget multi-tracks. C'est done, c'est fini. You won't last a bar. Yeah, you're cooked. David said it right. You're cooked. Your whole service is cooked. All the hard work you worked on for the week is going to go down the drain because without a timekeeper, we won't be able to play with multi-tracks because we're basically we're following a linear timeline. And if we're on our own timeline, if we're going back in the past and then going to the future and not in the present, you're gonna mess up the whole multiverse. You know, some MCU in there. Brother Lance is laughing. You're gonna create some branches and alternate time realities. You know, you don't want that. You're gonna mess up Canada. You know. So you need a drummer who is locked in. And one of my experiments is before, because I had this big dream, bro. You've seen it from the start, and I really needed our drummers to be locked like crazy with time. And I knew for a fact that none of us practiced with a metronome. Nobody in our church, because I did it. I just grooved and jammed and shed, but I never practiced with a metronome. So if I didn't, I knew they don't also, our drummers. So we decided to just use loops first. No clicks, no backtracks, no stems, no multi-tracks, just a loop. And the loop sounds like this. Right? So our drummer needed to just get used to playing with this weird and he had to like hold us down, because if he doesn't hold us down, then I lose my time and everybody else does, right? So we had to practice with this for a while, and I would do this with a lot of songs, like for example, so as a pianist, I have to also be great with time. You have to be able to find out one. Right? And I'm still in time. Here's an example of off time. So it happens, and especially when we do so we lose it. So we have to be so disciplined with our builds and kind of like so I started with this on a Sunday, and not just on Sunday, but my practice sessions were with loops. Because what's cool about XCM loops is this. There's a drum loop. So if you don't have a drummer, let's say you're in a small daughter work, this could be a great start, because not a lot of churches have drums and drummers. And so if you wanted to elevate your worship, this would be it. Name me another one. What's Phil Thompson's song? Oh, Praise is probably in there. Praise? Not yet. Let me see if I could spell it. Praise break. We don't want a praise break yet. Hold on. Elevation? Who is it? It's not in there, because this app, don't quote me, but I think it was built by an African American person. So it was more of like a black gospel guy. And so praise is probably not there. My worship, yeah, that's a great one. My worship. Oh, there's two of them. There's two versions. Okay. Let's do maybe this one. So our drummer has to be locked in, right? And let's say we don't have a drummer. Again, let's practice here. You can have fun. of like it's gonna help you feel the beat, and it's gonna be engraved in you. I promise you. It's kind of like it's in our veins, bro. Like that ticking one, you will be able to find it as a musician because you've practiced with this so many times, the metronome with the loop, that your sense of time is just gonna be unmatched. It's gonna be next level. So we have to practice with a loop because in order for us to use this live in a performance setting, we have to try to use this in at home. Okay, so this app, I think you could also use this on an Android. Yeah, this is not specific to Apple. You could download this, and I'm gonna help you guys download it on your preferred devices, MacBook, laptop, whatever, and then you guys can start using it. Okay, what's cool about XME, bro, is that let's say you're typing a song, let's say praise, right? And let's do it again. Maybe I missed it. Praise. Do you guys see anything? No, eh? So praise isn't here. I would even go here to contact, and I'm gonna say request a loop, and it sends an email to the admin. Loop requests are generally completed within 1 to 2 weeks. Oh, YouTube link. Okay, so I'm going to do it right now while you guys are at it. Oh, I can't see my screen. Where's my screen? Okay, let's do praise. My son says evolution worship. Evolution. Okay, and I know this works for a fact because I've seen songs like, he's in the room, let's say. Oh, is it he's in the room? Or anything can happen. Oh, anything can happen. I've seen some apostolic songs here. Look here. Anything can happen, Mark Crowder. So some apostolic decided, you know what, I need this loop. And I know this works. They respond, and I've done it also a couple times. Right, so let's try this. Brother Lance, I just noticed your hand was up. Go ahead, bro. Brother
Yo, bro.
Lance.
What's
Hey,
up?
bro.
Can you hear me,
I
bro?
want to see you, bro. Where are you at? Let me see
Yo,
you.
man. Good to see you, bro. I'll turn my camera on in a bit here.
Okay,
Just
sounds good.
changing for a Christmas party later. But I
Sounds
was
good.
gonna say, they actually did added praise on XME already. You just have to type up WPF peak, and then
Oh, okay.
yeah. 'Cause I also did requested that specific link, so you can try
Nice.
that later. What?
WPF. Okay, so
Yeah.
they use the medley.
Yes, bro.
No way. So Brother Lance uses. Did you hear XME from me, bro? I can't remember.
I think it was from you, bro. That's
Okay.
where I got it. Yeah. Thank you again.
WFP. Was that it?
Uh,
World
WPF,
Praise. WPF.
WPF, and then peak. It's like their NEYC, but for WPF.
I think I'm typing it wrong, bro. Let's see. Maybe new loops. Uh, capital P. Would that matter?
Thing is, I'm not sure if, like, let's say I'm doing it on my account.
Oh, I see it. I see it, bro.
Oh, you see it now? Oh, Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Oh, hold on. I want the drum loop. Oh, no way! Okay. So that's really cool, right? That's really cool. Really cool. So this is XME. I started with this and I had so much fun with it, and I know you're gonna have a blast. You're gonna go home tonight. You're gonna sleep maybe at 1 or 2 a.m. playing around with these things. And what's cool is that it comes with a drone pad. What's the drone pad, you may ask? Here. Well, let me put something in key. I don't like F. I want to go to A. Let's do a strings pad. Right? That is a drum pad. What does a drum pad do? Just atmospheric stuff. It just, if we're not playing, it's there. So if you're not playing, the song leader knows that the key is an A, right? And if you want to have fun, there's this thing called the organ preach pad. And I sit down and I listen to this. You want to go to church? We in church. If we don't have a crazy organist, I play this, bro. Let me go to A flat instead. It's better than A flat. Everything is better than A flat. So exactly. So if you're in a smaller church, right? Let's say you're in a 50 people church. You don't have all the gear. You don't have an organ. You don't have a Hammond. You just put this, and it's okay. You feel it, you just want to go to church right now. And I'm going to back him up. And then you close that, and then you start shouting. Okay, so that's really cool. And you have all of these pads that you can play around with. There's an angel pad. Right? Let's do a test. Let's go F sharp. Is it F sharp? Yeah, it's an F sharp. I don't like this piano. Hold on. So that's kind of like a calming pad that you can play with. So I really like XME. XME Loop is one of my favorite programs before Ableton, before Prime, because it could already do a lot. Okay? And there's another one here, praise. Nice. What's the drum loop? That's really cool. And there's some apostolic, I speak Jesus. Oh, it's not working. This one's not working. Anyways, so this is XME, okay? And what's also really cool, as you guys saw, there's some praise break stuff. And I want to go to praise break. What I did, these are previous set lists. December 18th, this is almost a year ago. What did we do? How Great Is Our God and Hosanna. Sunday, March 19th. So we did this, atmosphere shift, fire. And what's also really cool, let's say your song isn't there, okay, and you're typing the title, like say Lord You Are Good. You can't find it, Lord You Are Good. Well, I would do some background research. I would go on Google and type Lord You Are Good tempo. And I think it's like almost, it's 130 or something. And so I would go in here, and if I don't find Lord You Are Good, I would go to tempo, and I would just type in 130. These are all the 130 BPMs. And I would go one by one and see what fits with Lord You Are Good. All right? Maybe, right? Maybe. Yeah, with a bit of Latin in there, bro. But I'm like, no, probably not, right? So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to see, do I see a song that I think God, maybe loop could work? No, that's not going to work because it has that weird, like, snare. I would go in here. I would go in and check. Let's say praise. We'll see. That's interesting. It's a bit too much for me. So I'm not going to do that. Let's see dance. Let's see what this sounds like. So I'm going to go in like trial and error. This is good. So I would do that. And then I would create my set list. I would go in. As you can see here, my Zoom is hiding it, but it says add to playlist. And then you could make a new playlist. Okay? You title it December 3, tomorrow. And then you can add your playlist, okay? I would totally start with this, 100%. So I've already made a shout playlist, bro. So it's ready to go. And look at my emojis. Right there. So these are all of my favorite shout loops in XME. I've just saved them because I want to use them next time. So these are just a bank of all of my favorite loops. Look at this one. Somebody titled this Crazy Praise Break by Glenn Gibson. If you guys go on Google and type Glenn Gibson, Lance, you know what I'm saying. Glenn Gibson is the GOAT, guys. He's nuts on the organ, on the keys. Look at this track. It's so nice. So let's say you're in high praise, right? And then the preacher goes, all right, bring it down. Now he's exhorting. He's saying something. He's like saying, I don't know about you, but the Lord has been good. And so you have to bring it down. So you're going to have to learn how to master to control this. Because imagine he's saying all these things and you're up here. Your track is all like, and he's like, bring it up. All right, so you're going to have to know how to tell your band, direct them. Right? So you can play around with that. And then you can just instantaneously click the next track, and it's going to go on it on the next bar. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now you can practice at home. Right? So you just practice like that. You could use this as a practice thing and as a performance thing. Checking time, 5:37. Okay. A flat, look at this one. Let's say you don't have a band. Right? Really cool. Sister Zara?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's not free anymore.
It's not
You
free
have to
anymore.
no, you have to pay $14 monthly.
Yes, yes. This one is not. I'm so sorry. I thought I mentioned it. This one is not a free app. This is a paid subscription.
Ouch. It's okay.
And
It's
for
good
the
though.
longest time, guys, I want to give a testimony. This came out of pocket, just because I wanted to, because I know, even way before I was given the role, I had to I wanted to elevate our music, and this all came out of pocket for maybe a couple years, maybe 4 or 5 years. And so it showed to me, it proved to me that if you're really willing to invest in yourself, the compounded effects are so great. They're great. They're great. Maybe now it seems like, oh man, $5 a month for this, and then do I really have to pay $5 for the chord charts? Sometimes we have to, because it's going to give you the lines, right? Like, and you're not gonna, like, by ear. Maybe you can figure it out, but it's gonna be super tough because this chord is very specific. And if you bought the chord charts, if you invested in yourself, you're gonna be good because you're gonna sound great, amazing. So I bought it for so many years. It was just out of pocket. And when time came along, Brother Lance and Sister Zara, I approached it to the church, and I provided value, and I said, hey, like the outcome is so profitable. It's crazy because our musicians are going to be better, our worship experience are going to be better, and this year alone, I cannot count how many times we had an amazing worship set where it extended. After this nice atmospheric worship, people are praying, and the preaching was delayed, but that's okay. We actually like those moments, David, right? Like we like seeing those things happen, because that's when anointing is in the room, right? When the Bible says praises and habits in His people, if you're the only one praising, there's so many other people there, right? So they have to be it has to be a congregational thing. So you have to get them involved, and that's when you visibly know that the anointing and the presence of God is in the room, if they're all singing. If I bring down the track, if I bring down the click and the loop, and I hear them saying, "You are holy," when they're praising God, He's in the room. That's for sure, 100%. That's when you know anointing is here. That's kind of like because you can't see anointing, right? It's the Holy Ghost. And so when everyone is together singing and doing it as a church, that's basically what we what's the word? That's what we long for. It may not happen every Sunday, which is okay also. But these worship moments are so powerful, so precious. And so I provided it to the church, and I said, you know what? I showed them the value in it, and praise God, by the grace of God, we could now benefit from it. So that's really cool. So Sister Zara, unfortunately, it is not free. It is $14 a month, I believe. Brother Lance, can you correct me? I can't remember.
Yes, $14.
$14,
Cat.
okay. And the Prime app with the upgraded cloud, I'm sorry, it's only $7 a month, but you get, I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, I gave you guys wrong information. The free Prime, Brother David, only gave me 500 megabytes. It's a lot. Now with the upgraded, the starting that I paid for is 5 gigs. Imagine, think about 500 megs. And so I had to always remove stuff and put stuff back. It was so annoying. So that one is more cheaper, the Prime app. But if you were to ask me, I would go for this first. This one is, and then you could start to delve into Prime once you get into if you want to get to Ableton, you have to go through Prime to kind of like feel it out, and then go to Ableton later. So that's kind of like the progress course I would take if you want to delve to Ableton. Okay, so Sister Zara, I know you're here for Ableton. We'll touch on Ableton in just in a few minutes. Okay. So any practical best practices, you obviously need to have a Focusrite. I used to leave it here, but ever since our incident, I started bringing it home. But I'll start to trust my my everything again and start to leave it here. But I would leave my Focusrite, and this is usually all ready to set up, and all it is, it's connected through a USB-C to my laptop. Okay. If you wanted to use your iPad, you're going to need to get this device. Zoom, you guys see this? So this you plug to your iPad, this USB, you plug to the audio interface, but you need to plug your power or else your interface is not going to power up. Okay, so this will magically read that you're connected to an iPad and it's going to send some audio outs. Yes, bro? This one is the Focusrite 2i2, and it's basically the basics of basics. You could start with this, but we want to upgrade to a more with many more outs, because right now the 2i2 only comes with 2 outs. But with Ableton, you can send out so many outputs. You can actually divide all of the guitars, all of the keys on their own separate channels, and on the board, Sister J. Marie, they would come up as an own individual channels, so the engineer can mix that. Whereas here, I have to mix it myself because I only have 2 outs. So right here, I'm mixing it myself with these levels here. Okay. So this is an audio interface. You have a left and a right. The left is for click and guide. That's the general rule. And so any cues that you hear, like 1, 2, 3, comes out of the left. And everything is coming out of the right, all of these tracks, which is why it's not really ideal, because it's coming out of a mono signal where everything is just squashed in the middle. And so when were you there at the workshop, audio workshop? Oh, you missed it, okay. But anyways, Randy talked about that, like stereo outs are so much better because it provides clarity and just depth and just dynamics. So right now, this is what we have, Brother Lance, and believe it or not, it's been working fine. When James Wilson and the team came, they did not complain. I'm like, this is what we have. I'm so sorry. They're like, it's all good. We're gonna use it, and they used it like amazingly. And so I didn't upgrade yet. We want to delve into another type of output called Dante, and that's technical. We'll save that for another session. But Dante allows you to connect just with one Ethernet cable, and it's kind of like a wireless network to our speakers. So depending on where your church is, what your church setup is, not everybody can have Dante, but audio interface. If you don't have an audio interface, I know we have one of those small mixers downstairs. I started with that, a small mixer, and what I did is I did left and right output, and then I would use. I have this cable in my bag. Hold on. So I know, Sister Zara, you have an audio interface, but for the longest time, we use a mini mixer with a like a 3.5 jack to my phone or laptop, and it came with 2 channels, a splitter, and I would split them, okay? And I would put the red, now I can't remember. Yeah, red is left. So I would put this on the left, on one channel, and I would pan that left on my small mixer. And then this one would go on a right channel and leave it right in the middle for mono. And so I had my, click and stuff with this cable. But I feel like the audio interface is way more faster, more responsive, and so we stick with it. So you guys will have this set up here. And we actually have a church laptop, okay, that we have that the leader of the band could take home for the week. And I've already downloaded all of these apps on it. I've downloaded Ableton on it. It's ready to go, Prime and XME. And you would take it for the week, and whatever songs you're playing on that given Sunday, you're going to have to do homework and set it up. And basically what I do. And we'll do another session on how I set up stuff. Again, this is more of an intro. Man, we're getting there. We're gonna get there. Sparks, yeah, 47. I'm looking at the time. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's dive into Ableton now. The nitty gritty, just so I can show you guys what a given Sunday looks like. All right. So this right here, I'm gonna show you our last set list where we use Ableton fully. So tiny. There you go. Okay. Sunday. Okay. Where is it? Actually, you know what? We're going to do, let's do Jesus. You guys want to hear Jesus? So this is the Ableton for Jesus, the multi-track right here. And so what I would do on a given Sunday, I would just listen to the track, and I would kind of do my my studying, and I already know for a fact that on Sunday I'm going to have to mute drums, I'm going to have to mute bass, keys, maybe one or two guitars. Just there's so many guitars, as you guys can see. There's 5, and so I would listen to all of them individually. And what I would do is I would say, hey. In my head, I know my guitarists are really skilled. I'm going to tell them, okay, you do this part, and I'm muting it. If they can't do it, I'll tell them, just do your thing, bro. I'll leave the stems, because they do this crazy licks. And if they're not able to, I would leave it, and I'll just tell them to play, hold a one, whole notes or something like that. So I would go in here and I would study. Okay, so I would say, this is drums. I'm going to mute drums. Bass, I'm going to mute it. I'm not going to mute it today just because we don't have drums and basses, but you guys get the idea. I would mute whatever I already have at church. So right now I have a piano, so I'm going to remove that. And so I would listen to the whole track, and this is how it feels to play with multi-tracks.
Intro to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So that annoying click, that is your tempo. No one in the house is going to hear it.
Verse 2, 1.
Because we set it up correctly with the... right? So this is multi-tracks. This is playing with stems. And it sounds so good because of these other extras, right? Like that. Like that.
2, 2, 3, 4.
So you could solo the parts. Okay? And so before I started using this, there was a lot of learning to do. Your whole team has to be on board, especially who? The drummer. Especially the drummer. Because imagine playing with this and the drummer is so off, it's going to sound super off, right? Because we're following a linear timeline. So the drummer has to especially be on board. And so I wouldn't just dump this on you and say, here, Ableton, take it home and learn it, and I expect you on Sundays ready to go. I wouldn't do that. Okay? I'll provide grace and mercy. As always, we have to. So we're going to start with XME. Okay? XME is the great, is the software I recommend starting with. And then we're going to delve into Prime. Okay? And Prime is the same thing, but more simplified than Ableton. And then Ableton. Okay? Any questions? We'll do a Q&A now before we wrap up. You can. You can change the key. You can slow it up, or speed it up. You can even cut certain things and move them. let's say chorus right here. This waveform, you could cut it and then move it. And so you could kind of play around with the arrangement of a song. How much is Ableton to purchase? Very good questions, Brother Lance. Ableton is at a cost of about right now it's on sale, $383. $383. So it's on sale now. Regular price is about $400 for the program. Yeah, for this program. And so which is why it's there's a learning curve, and which is okay. It takes time, but we will get everyone there. Our teams are going to start to use this by next year, mid-year, hopefully. Okay. The next session, we'll do another one. We'll do more practical stuff. I'm going to have each one of you come up. I'm going to disassemble everything, and then you guys put this together. Okay. And so all these connections, how it works, and also, how this is wired to the DI, how that's wired to the stage box, and how the stage box is connected to the front of house board. So all of these things matter, because if not, you're going to hear this intro. And you've heard it a couple times from me, Brother Lance. Not proud of it. You're going to hear the click in house, and we don't want to. Actually, there was this big concert recently, and it was in house, like this big pop. I've seen a clip. Strazera, you sent it to me. And the click and guide was in the stadium. And they didn't fix it till like later. They didn't realize. Yeah. I'll find a clip. I'll send it to you guys. So the setting up part is very important too. But don't worry, with XME loops, there is no click or guide. This is just a simple loop. So you can have that set it up, mono on mono. All right, so I guess we can wrap up, and then there's a service happening in a couple minutes. We will touch base, okay, and wait for me. Don't leave right away. Meet me maybe in the back. Yeah, right there, right there. Yeah, and I'll download this stuff. You guys are out of town. I wish I can help you one day if you guys come to Montreal. Okay. Thank you so much for coming, Brother Lance Strazera. I appreciate you both. We'll do another one. Please join the other one. We have many more sessions coming up. We have big plans for music ministry in Saint Laurent. Thanks, bro. God bless you guys, okay? See you next time, Strazera. God bless.